I've been begging David Yates to allow us to see Newt out in the wild. In the first film, you know that he spent a year researching his book, and he's been traveling around the world with his case. And I always wanted to see him in that environment in which he feels kind of at his most comfortable.
The film begins in the Tianzi Mountains in China, in a mysterious, exotic, remarkable place. The Tianzi Mountains are, waterfalls and forest or mountains that we've never seen before.
We were planning location shooting in China. We had so many plans to go all over the place. And then the pandemic landed, and we had to reconfigure everything in a really pragmatic way.
In China, and we captured and scanned massive areas of the places where we've set the film. And my touchstone is always reality, so they've gone out to the Dotian Falls, to Moon Hill, and to the Li River there, and scanned and filmed lots and lots of footage, which we're now using to rebuild it authentically around the sets.
We're literally going to, well, not replicate from that, but create our own environment of waterfalls to fit within that, our set of the waterfall.
It had to be seen to be believed. And even when you were there and the waterfalls were going, they had these gigantic pumps, of which there were only 10 in the world, that was pumping water up and down to create these waterfalls. Even when you were there and it was happening, you couldn't quite believe it was real. You finally get to see Newt at his best and happiest, which is tracking creatures. And in this case, it's a very beautiful and extraordinary creature in the Wizarding world called a Qilin. The birth of the Qilin in the movie was one of the more intense moments of the film to shoot. It was sort of brilliant puppeteers, not only moving the Qilins and the puppets, but making the sound effects. And it really felt like you were there for the birth of something special.
The characteristics are one of being kind of delicate and fragile. Or the reference that we had was small Indonesian deer. And the reason she's in this muted colour is so that she's easy to see on set when we're puppeteering her, and also so that her colour doesn't create any colour bounce that may reflect onto the set. So we can have 3 puppeteers operating her in a sort of, in the tradition of a Bunraku-style performance. So we could have rod attachments to her legs here and here, so we could get her legs moving. There are rod attachments on her back as well. There are kind of pick points here and here, so that we can puppeteer her from the back, and also on her head. Most of the time, because it's tricky when you have 3 puppeteers all gathered around a puppet this small, predominantly she's a one-man operation. But the mother is absolutely massive, and so it takes 3 puppeteers to operate her, one on the sort of the front legs, one on the back legs, and one on the head. And we had a really great time working with Eddie to find that connection.
The Tianzi mountain sequence, we built this big scaffold hill. It was made out of massive scaffolding. It was probably 45 feet high, probably 100 feet long. So we followed him, we jumped down with him, we came around, and we used the digital stitch to go into a second piece with a slide.
It was really immersive, and we're now adding stuff in, so we're adding the bamboo digitally to mean that the camera can move quickly, and also we can add stuff around Eddie so it feels a lot more kind of exciting than it would have been if we had had a very slow-moving camera, because there's bamboo in the way. So it's a real marriage of what we should build and what we should leave to us in the end. For me, the whole journey of this film has been at that level of trust and collaboration between departments. It means that we've achieved stuff in the best way.